On August 21st, 2005, WWE presented Summerslam from Washington, D.C. This night may be most famous for a once-in-a-lifetime dream match that's remembered more for what was taking place behind the scenes. The only ever one-on-one match between Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. When this match was originally planned, the hope was that it would be the first of at least 2 matches, with each man getting a victory. As a result, the July 4th Raw ended with HBK and Hogan defeating Carlito and Kurt Angle. But post-match, Shawn would hit Hogan with sweet chin music and stand over him in the ring. Shawn didn't really want to turn heel, but he did so for the match, knowing he would get his win eventually. Despite Shawn being hesitant, he went all out for his new heel role. On the August 1st edition of Raw, Shawn turned up the heat even more, this time performing a parody of Hulk Hogan's recent interview with Larry King, with an actor playing Larry and Shawn Michaels playing Hogan. Entering the set on a walker, wearing a fake tan, a wig and a bandana, Shawn looked ridiculous. And if you've never seen this segment before, I'd advise you to go and watch it. Link in description, brother. This segment was so loved at the time that a unique action figure was produced of Shawn playing Hulk Hogan. On the August 15th Raw, just days before SummerSlam, Raw emanated from Montreal, where some little misunderstanding took place that you might have heard of a few years earlier. And Shawn Michaels, he might have known something about it too. For years after this incident, Shawn was still hated in Canada, especially Montreal, so he did his best to play up to that. He goaded the crowd about their hero, Bret Hart, saying he would never come back. This was until the Hitman's music played and the crowd went crazy. At the time, there had been rumours going around of contact between WWE and Bret Hart, and the deal was eventually made in August 2005. However, this only turned out to be WWE producing a compilation DVD with Bret Hart's input, where he was allowed to pick and choose his best matches. Because of the rumours, there were fans that believed that Bret might actually be in the building, but after a few minutes of Michaels pacing around the ring in fear, it became clear that Bret wasn't really there. Michaels' expression turned from shock to amusement. It turned out that he had planned the whole thing to rile up the crowd, who hated him now more than ever. This trick has been done many times before and since, but never with such a riotous crowd reaction. In an ironic turn of events, when Bret Hart eventually did return to WWE in 2010, he called Shawn Michaels out to the ring and the two made amends. Behind the scenes as the match drew closer, neither man could agree on who would be winning at SummerSlam, or if there would even be a follow-up. Shawn had pitched that he would win the first one and Hogan the second. Hogan refused this, wanting one match where he would win. In another example of WWE not learning from the mistakes of WCW, Hogan had creative control in his contract, meaning that he was able to refuse anything he didn't like. As a result, Hogan would get his way. Once this became public knowledge, there was a portion of fans that sided with Shawn Michaels, given that in an ideal world, the 52-year-old with the fake hip and bad knees shouldn't be beating the 40-year-old current main event star. In a slightly petty act of revenge, Shawn managed to steal Hogan's spotlight in a way only he could, when the bell rang. Throughout the 21-minute match, Shawn Michaels decided to oversell everything Hogan did. From the opening minutes, Michaels took a bump seemingly every time they touched, sometimes even landing outside the ring, even a few times adding a bizarre flip as well. He also seemed to make a point of making his offense against Hogan as simple as possible, chops and punches mostly, as if to emphasize Hogan's lack of movement by comparison. In contrast to Shawn bouncing all over ringside, Hogan first leaves his feet 9 minutes into the match, and not many times after. HBK tries to get more heat by applying a sharpshooter, which does manage to get the crowd to boo him. After a referee bump, Shawn gets a chair and blasts Hogan with a brutal looking shot I'm not sure that Hogan got his hands up for. Michaels hits the elbow and the sweet chin music, and for a brief moment it looks like Shawn might actually win. Hogan doesn't just kick out, however. He throws Shawn off him and launches into his trademark comeback sequence. As if it was one last act of defiance, when Hogan hits his big boot off the ropes, Michaels falls down, pops right back up off the mat, and falls again. That's right, he bumped twice for one kick. Hogan finishes with the leg drop of doom and pins Shawn Michaels. Post-match, the two shake hands, but Hogan doesn't look happy. I can't decide whether he realizes it or not yet, but despite Hogan getting the win, all anyone would talk about the next day was Shawn Michaels' performance. Thank you for watching yet another wrestling channel. If you enjoyed this, please comment, like or subscribe.